Good afternoon, everybody. We're starting this week with some good news and some bad news. The bad news being Harry's BMW 3 Series has broken down. We think it is the starter motor, and I believe it's blown up because when I plug a diagnostic tool in, it does say that there is a faulty starter motor on the car. And when you try and turn the engine over by starting it, it literally doesn't move. So it could either be seized or, like I say, the starter motor. That is best case scenario, but that's not our problem this week. Because the good news is my BMW 3 Series is back, and I think we've found out the reason as to why it is droning when accelerating. You guys said about wheel bearings. Here's literally all of your guys' comments about them. And we've got some new front wheel bearings to put on the car today. And then I got my car booked in for the 10th of December at BMW to get rear wheel bearings installed. And then fingers crossed after that, we'll have no more droning issues. Hopefully. So we've got my car in the garage, and the first thing we're going to do is fix this mirror here. You can see it's all smashed up and dirty from when I accidentally cracked it a while back, and I've got a new one to replace this. We just need to take it out, take off the electrical connector on the back and put the new one in. Well, it appears the mirror that is meant to be for my car is not for my car. Let me explain why. So on my old mirror, it was a little electrical connector and plug, just like this, plugged in to this right here on the mirror, and the new one that I've got is not like that. Instead, it's two electrical pins there, which that's not going to work. But I think for now what I will do is just clip this mirror on in place anyway, because it's not a smashed mirror. It's going to be a lot safer than having the smashed one. I have to order a new one and put that on, but that's really frustrating. There, all installed. We need to just give that a wipe with a microfiber cloth to get all my fingerprints off, but it looks really nice because they're actually frameless mirrors. Well, this one's a frameless mirror that I picked up anyway. Just annoying about that electrical connector, but at least I know now I've got not a smashed mirror on my driver's side. So with that mirror glass now replaced, we need to work on these front wheel bearings. And I know you guys were hating me in the last video for putting on a Chinese turbo on the car, and you're saying I got Chinese suspension and stuff. Well, you're gonna be proud of me today. So I've gone out and got the best of the best. We've got some Bilstein front wheel bearings to replace these old ones that are on the car, and it's just shy of 120,000 miles, and I reckon these haven't been changed. If they are the issue, great, we can do that. If they're not the issue, then hopefully when the car goes into BMW on the 10th of December and they do the rear wheel bearings, which you've also got Bilstein ones for, fingers crossed that'll fix our issues. But right now I only have the tools to do the front ones, which is why I'm not going to do the rear ones myself. These should just be a bolt off and bolt on job, but it's something I've never done before, so we're just going to give it a go, and hopefully it all goes to plan and we have great success. Also, one more thing about lighting. I have put up 2 more lights in here. I need to just get a few more along that wall there, some along the back, and then a couple more stronger ones up top, and I think we'll be all right for lights in here. But yeah, I did read all your guys' comments, and I do need to get more lights, definitely. It is coming, just it's money, and I don't have much money, so you're just gonna have to bear with for a couple of weeks maybe. So to begin with then, I say you strap in and buckle up, because this was way harder of a job than I anticipated it to be. But I started by cracking all the bolts from my front wheels, jacking the car up and dropping it on some stands. So that is now the car jacked up and on some stands. The next thing I'm gonna do is take the front right wheel off. I think I'm going to start on this side because I've got a little bit more space, and then once I've got the wheel off, I'll show you exactly what we need to do next. Alrighty, so with the wheel off, we need to now get the brake caliper off and the brake disc itself. And the brake caliper, I think, is held on with 2 bolts from behind, and then the brake disc is held on by that 1 bolt just there. Once I remove the 2 of them, the what's called wheel bearing will be right in front of us, and it's 4 bolts behind that to get it off. So let's get the caliper off first, which is a job I've never done, and then we'll get the brake disc after, which is also a job I've never done, so wish me luck. Removing the caliper and the disc is actually a really straightforward job. That's like beginner mechanic sort of job. It was just 2 bolts on the back of the caliper. I believe that was held on the caliper bracket, I think, onto the knuckle, and then you can just pull the whole thing off in one go, and make sure to hang it on something or stand it up on something. I used a jack stand because you do not want to hang this on the brake hose. And then after that, it was just a 6mm Allen key to take off that 1 bolt, and then the the brake disc just pulled straight off. These are slightly heavy, so if you're doing this for the first time, just be aware that you might accidentally drop it, because you might not realize that these weigh a couple of kilos. But if you're experienced in this field, you'll know that this is just a very straightforward and easy job. That is the first time I've ever removed a caliper or a brake pad. That is pretty cool. But this is the state of the bearing. Do you guys reckon, because that's not spinning freely, I'm not sure if it's meant to be and it stops quite soon, do you reckon maybe this is an issue? I mean, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's not a good sound. It's quite like scratchy, almost sounds like it's rubbing. But there's 4 bolts on the back of here now that we need to remove and get that off. Oh, I can't believe we did that. Get in. With the brake disc and the brake caliper out of the way, then I could start working actually getting the bearing off of the knuckle. As you can see from this shot now, there was 4 bolts, so I was holding it on from behind. They all had 18mm heads, which I just put a socket on with my ratchet, and my god, these things were the tightest bolts I have ever undone in my life. Put it this way, I started doing this at about 6 PM, getting these bolts out at 6 PM. I wasn't done until gone midnight. I am struggling so bad right now, honestly. I managed to get these 3 out though, which is really good. But oh my god, my hand's killing. Look, normal skin colour, hand skin colour right now. Killing. Honestly, just pulling down this ratchet is killing my hand. But 3 out. I think to get that last one out though, I have to drop the knuckle here. So I've got to undo this and then drop the knuckle. And then be able to get it out. Oh, let's just keep going. I think I'm going to use this bit of my video, you know. Okay, it's quite a lot later in the evening, and we've had accidents, we've had stress, almost tears, but just we have got the front right bearing off finally. We've got 2 more bolts on the front left to get off, but before I do that, because they are the hardest bolts I've ever removed in my life, we are going to get the front right bearing back on with the brake pad, the brake caliper and the wheel. Then that is this side of the car done. But oh man, this has been a very long night, and it's only about to get longer. Let's keep on going. Spirits are high because I've done this now, but my god, I'm in pain, I'm tired, and I just want to get this done. But we'll keep going. All my lights are dying too, so it's not looking good, Brev, but let's keep going. So as you can see, we've got all 4 of the bolts out, and we've now got to put the new bearing on, which we have got over here. We've got the headlights on right now, just to actually get light in here, because we've got that light on, all the others are dead, which doesn't help. But this is the new Bilstein wheel bearings that we have got. These better be worth it, because this job has literally taken every single part of my will and want and everything to just keep on going. It's taken my spirit, it's taken everything. So this better be the right one, and this better fix everything, all the problems. Just, yeah, I'm so tired, I don't even know what to say. Let's just get this back on. It just lines back up with how this one went on, and then it's the 4 bolts, and then we can put everything else back together after. I'm just gonna stop talking and do this. Let's get going. That's the Bilstein wheel bearing unboxed then, and lucky for me, it was the correct front wheel bearing, and I'm so glad that it was, because with history on this channel, things that we buy tend to not fit first time, but thankfully these did. So it's back on with the new front wheel bearing and the 4 18mm bolts in the back, and luckily they went in a lot easier than how they came out. Once in, I torqued them up to 110 Newton meters, and then I jacked up the knuckle and tightened up the pinch bolt which held the knuckle onto the shock absorber, once again torquing this up to spec. Then the dust shield went on, which was just 4 10mm bolts, and then the brake disc with that one little 6mm Allen key bolt. This was quite difficult to do up there, as there was no brakes on the front as of yet. The disc was just wanting to spin, so I had to hold it with one hand and do it up with the other. And then the caliper went back on, which was quite tight at first to get on, but as soon as it sat on top of the disc, it was fine to slide in, and then put the 2 bolts on the bracket which held it in place. And then finally the wheel. Oh, we've got one side done. What an achievement. Okay, just gotta finish up the other side now. After finally getting the driver's side back together, I got on with the passenger side, and this was no different. The bolts were just as seized and as tight as they were on the driver's side. Just have a look at this little clip here. This is just to show you how tight they were, and I know you're gonna say, why not use a breaker bar? It just wouldn't fit. So yeah, pretty damn tight. And the reason that I was lying on the floor was actually for leverage, so that when I'm pushing up against the ratchet, I'm pushing myself into the floor, and therefore I could use more strength and basically push through my entire body. It was an absolute killer, and I am in like just so many aches and pains now from this job. I hope to never ever do it again. But I did get there in the end, and I got the wheel bearing off, and I've got the new one straight back on with those 4 bolts again. And this time I put the dust shield on next with those 4 10mm bolts, following it up by getting that knuckle up in the air and tightening up that pinch bolt, and then getting on that brake disc along with the caliper and doing the caliper bolts up to 110 Newton meters as well. And then finally getting the wheel back on, which was the best feeling ever. The amount of relief that I had in that moment, I genuinely almost was brought to tears. So it has now been 2 days since we changed the front wheel bearings on my BMW 3 Series, and I must tell you that I was absolutely knackered yesterday, like the most tired I've ever felt other than being unwell just from doing that job. It was an absolute killer, and I hope to never do it again. Those damn bolts, man. So as I've now had 2 days to drive around in the car, I can tell you it has not fixed our issue with the droning. I didn't think it would, because I didn't think it was the front wheel bearings. I was almost certain it is the rear wheel bearings, which I'm getting done, like I say, on the 10th of December at BMW. So in a couple of weeks time, fingers crossed, we'll have no more droning issue with the car, which if we don't, that would be really, really nice. But I do just want to say a really big thank you to my mates who brought me out something to drink and some tools and bits and bobs to help me finish the job. I couldn't have done it without you guys, and I'm really, really thankful. You know exactly who you are. I really do appreciate you. But as mentioned then at the start of the video, we do have got bad news, and Harry's car has broken down. It has got one pretty annoying issue. We cannot open the bonnet. The bonnet latch stuff has been cut in half by somebody, which is stupid. I don't know why they did it, and it's really, really frustrating. So we've got that coming in about 20 or 30 minutes. It should be delivered, and then next week we can fix his car. I think we also need to order a starter motor as well, because I think that is the issue, because when we plug a code reader into his car, it comes back saying there is a faulty starter motor, so that has to be the issue, which lucky for us is a really, really easy fix. It's just a 3 bolts, I believe, on the bottom of the engine. You take the old one off, you put the new one on, and then you bolt it back up, and you should be able to start the car. So that is next week's plan. Fingers crossed it all goes to plan. If it goes like this week, then I might give up with cars and do something else. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to give up doing cars. I love this. It is just such a fun job. So thank you guys ever so much for sticking around until now. I really appreciate it. This has been probably one of the hardest weeks working on my car. It shouldn't have been that difficult. It's just those bloody bolts. I'm not going to get over it, because they absolutely killed me, and I am in agony right now. I've got cuts, I've got bruises, my bones are aching, and so are my muscles. But what made it even worse is I didn't eat or drink that day, because I went to work. I worked 7 till 3. I came home, went straight to my garage. I just had no time to eat or drink, which was not good. And then I went to bed at way gone midnight, woke up at like 5 hours later to go to work. I was just beyond knackered yesterday. So thank you guys ever so much for watching. I really do appreciate you supporting me and sticking around, especially after a week like I've had. It just means that little bit more that you guys stick around and watch my videos. So thank you ever so much for watching. I'll catch you next week on Sunday, where we try and fix Harry's car. Have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you then. Peace out.